Sup. Yeah, well, this is just a very... I don't know why I bother saying that, but it's a very brief pickups video, and this in this instance it will be, because most of what I'm going to show you've already seen, or you might have already seen if you'd seen that that last packages video that I did. Remember? I don't know why I'm including all that stuff. Just I feel the need. I don't think I just sort of like flashed it all, didn't I? It was more about sort of seeing what condition it was in, rather than actually talking about the games. But so I'm sort of in a weird position. I've sort of pulled my computer further this way, away from the window, trying to reduce some of that sort of face glow stuff I get sometimes. I thought, brainwave, move the computer away from the window, and it seems to have worked. But now I'm in a weird position because I've got nowhere to put my legs. Because normally I sit at my computer desk, and now I'm sort of at a weird angle, sort of going like that. So, yes, don't know where to start. Oh, screw it. The stuff you've already seen. Blu-ray. Well, you've already seen 500 Days of Summer. See it. This is all from CX Bar 1. Yeah, this was just to make up the... All with credit. I don't think I actually mentioned that in that packages video. But... yeah, all with credit. This was just to sort of make up the numbers, because I literally had 50p left over, so it was only £2. And I like the film. And I'm not too proud to say I enjoyed that film. And Shinobido. Well, it's sort of like a ninja stealth map, isn't it? Like Tenchu. But it's one I'm not that bothered about Tenchu, but for some reason this looks not much different from Tenchu, but for some reason I wanted this one more than Tenchu's, probably because it's slightly more uncommon. And that appealed. So now it's gone too dark. Oh, motherfuckers. And now I've spat on the screen. So yeah, Shinobido. I don't think it's got anything to do with Shinobi. It's just basically Shinobi with Do on the end. Yeah, I mean, I'd heard good things about this one. And as I said, I'd actually sort of missed out on it in the past. Just passed it up. I've seen it in charity shops for whatever reason, passed it up. And when I've done that, those sorts of games always... So that's better. Stick to what you know. Stick to what you know, peeps. Stick to what you know. Don't try and innovate. If you're going to get a glowy face, get a glowy face. Shinobido. A nice nick, apart from all of what looks like spunky stuff around the disc. Is it going to see it? Is it on there? Yeah, you can see it. Yeah. No doubt. It is actually the stuff they put on the discs to clean them. It's not actually jizz. But I'm prone to imagining the worst case scenarios, and that's what doesn't bear thinking about. Shinobi performed a bit of surgery. Actually, it was a piece of piss. They just came off, but I wasn't sure they would, but they did. And actually, it's not bad, Nick. That bit annoying, but I could cut that off. I've actually just changed my Stanley knife blade, so that'd be nice and sharp to get that off. I have to dig out. Actually, I do know it is a steel rule, so I could. And I think when it comes to things like that, I don't actually have a cutting board. I haven't got a cutting surface, so I just have to use a breadboard, which isn't ideal, but you know. Yeah, so that's the only. It's all right inside. Disc is, yeah, well, disc's all right. But as I mentioned in that last video, I'm so close to the end. I mean, last 3 main PS2 games I want to get. Sylphied. I think in America, Sylphied on the PS2 is a treasure game, which is bizarre. That's not. It doesn't say so with the PAL version, but odd. And Sylphied. A game called Zombie Zone, which is basically Oni-Chanbara. It's Zombie Hunters 1. Zombie Hunters is essentially Zombie Zone, but with a few different characters. Zombie Hunters 2 is the 3rd game in the series. It's confusing. I don't know why. I think they just tweaked it. And a game called All Star Fighters, which is a weird fighting game of characters from the Simple 2000 series. Or the odd characters from Oni-Chanbara, Zombie Hunters, Dragon Sisters, the little pumpkin-headed dude from Splattermaster. You know, and Demolition Girl. Yeah, Demolition Girl. You know, all these random sort of bikini-clad video game characters from cheap, nasty Japanese video games, and that they've turned it into sort of like a Marvel versus Capcom, or you know, All-Star Fighter. Except for these characters you've never heard of, and it just looks fun. It looks a bit of a novelty, a bit sort of shitty, but fun. And I wanted that. So those are the real. Is that 3? Yeah, those are the 3 only. There's a few others, but apart from that. And so these 4 here, this one, that one, sequel to that one, Nightshade. These 2, yeah, very similar games. Rock hard. I suppose in a sense quite run-of-the-mill hack and slashers in the vein of Devil May Cry. No real sort of connection to the traditional Shinobi games, but I forgot to mention. Yeah, I performed surgery, but found a bit of ink on the. So I'm going to somehow have to get that. Do that trick with whiteboard markers. Yeah, they're not bad games. Rock hard, from what I've played, just ridiculous. And they sort of slightly more. It's a weird sort of platforming. There's maybe a bit more platforming than something like a Devil May Cry or God of War. You can perform chains. You can chain enemy kills using this. You can almost like you use them as platforms, and you can sort of mid-air kills sort of bounce from one to the other. If you can time the kill, and you can carry on to the next one, and then you can use those to traverse gaps and things like that. So it's in essence, they're a bit more platformer than your standard, like I said, standard Devil May Cry clone. But again, like Shinobi, though, maybe not that interesting games, but they sort of appealed to me for whatever reason. Appealed to me more than other Devil May Cry clones, and this was one of the very last survival horror games I wanted. I really can't think of any others apart from Silent Hill Shattered Memories, but I'm not willing to pay the the PS2 cost for that. And yeah, so still haven't got the manuals. Anyone's got a manual of these? I've swept out the case, so it looks okay now. I just need a manual. Likelihood of me getting a random manual somewhere is very slim. So I'm keeping on the lookout for another copy of CX, and I'll just trade this in against it. Get about £4 off the price. Bit annoying, but still, I'm not likely to find a manual anytime soon, am I? There you go. Got my receipt. So yeah, yeah, that one's a lot pricier, maybe sort of twice the price of the first game. But annoyingly, again, these are two games I've had history with. I can remember years ago going on a sort of a trip out. I went to Camden, back when Camden had a game station, so it's a good few years ago now. And I didn't know Camden then. I went on sort of bit of an explore, and they had a Morrison's, or they got a Morrison's, and weirdly they had a whole bargain bin full of sealed copies of Forbidden Siren 1 and 2 for probably not that cheap, because they never seem to be cheap. I never seem to get supermarkets when their games are dirt cheap like other people's. They're always, if anything, more expensive than anywhere else. But in this instance, they were probably around about £5-10 for a sealed copy of Forbidden Siren 2. So at the time, they weren't particularly collectible, and I thought, bargain bin, not something I want to. Not something that's really going to be high on my priorities if these games are all in bargain bins, is it? But it's gone dark again. Now you can see my face, my lovely face. So yeah, I've forgotten what I was talking about. And finally, Fire Pro Wrestling returns. I'm cheap. I would like the PAL version. But logic says, the logic part of my brain says, just get this one. It's a lot cheaper, and you can have an English language manual and sleeve. Yeah, and this came from eStocks USA, and turned out right. So yeah. Still need a console to play it on though. Right, that's everything. Everything you've already seen. Stuff you haven't seen. 3 films. Charity shop. All 3 charity shops. Blu-rays to begin with. Tree of Life. Terrence Malick, one of my favourite filmmakers. I think this is just on the edge of his more prolific, lower quality phase that he's now moved into. Early stuff like Days of Heaven and Badlands. Oh, love it, brilliant. And I've forgotten other stuff. Thin Red Line. When he used to make about a film a decade, and then is it King of Cups, Knight of Cups? I've not seen that one. And there's a new one. I think there's been 2 or 3 in the last few years, and. As far as I've not seen any of them, but as far as I've heard, they're not quite as good. But this, I don't really know too much about it. This one actually, it's got Brad Pitt and Sean Penn, and I think Sean Penn's Brad Pitt's son's. Hang on. No, anyway. Tree of Life, Terrence Malick. That's good enough reason for me to have this. Charity shop purchase. Ex Machina, not seen this one. I saw it in a charity shop, and at the same time I bought Jurassic World 3D, thinking that it had a 2D Blu-ray in it, and it didn't. So I tried to just trade that in to CX. But this is another one that I wanted to try. I've heard people have recommended this to me, so I thought, yeah, why not? And written and directed by Alex Garland. What is it with people who have become successful in other forms of the arts, fields of the arts, thinking they can just think, fuck it, I'm just going to become a filmmaker. Or become like a fashion designer, like fucking posh. Yeah, right, okay, yeah. Yeah, screw going to college to learn how to design clothes or make films. I'm just going to become a fashion designer or a filmmaker. Not that I'm bitter. Not taking advantage of their leg up. Finally, another one of my favourite current filmmakers, actually, Ben Wheatley. Field in England. I love his films. Down Terrace, brilliant. Sightseers, great. Kill List, brilliant. Violent, dark. What else? High Rise. I love High Rise. Sort of film that will piss people off because it's a bit out of the ordinary. Those are the sorts of films I like. So is this. Really want to see Free Fire. It's Free Fire, isn't it? Missed that one in the cinema. And what else I've missed? I'm sure I've missed others. But weird thing about this, it was released on Blu-ray and DVD in the cinema and shown on the telly all on the same day. I saw the Film 4 version or Channel 4 version. Really enjoyed it. It's set during the English Civil War, and sort of the main group of characters are all characters. They all sort of meet up having escaped a battle that's raging the other side of a hedge, and they all sort of meet up and initially don't really trust each other, but you know. And then one of them says, "Oh, there's a pub just off in the distance," and he tries to lead them to the pub. And they meet this character played by Michael Smiley, who's been in lots of Ben Wheatley films. He was in Kill List. Michael Smiley's he's a bit like some sort of inquisitor, Matthew Hopkins character, and he gives them a load of magic mushrooms, and then the film takes a bit of a tangent, but it is highly recommend that. I bought this. I saw it in the charity shop, thinking, I'm thinking actually I won't buy it because I want to get the Blu-ray. But then I thought to myself, hang on, I'm not sure it is on Blu-ray, so I bought it, and then I took it home and then realised it is on Blu-ray. So anyway, it's £2. It was brand new. So I'll watch it again, having already seen it, of course, and I can highly recommend that. It's a bit crazy. And right, games now. Bit of an up. Now it's the glowy face thing. Yeah, Uncharted 3. I sort of had this, but I wanted this version, and the one I bought had the wrong disc in it. It had the standard disc, so I've still got that. I was just looking for a disc, but I couldn't be asked just to pay for disc. Disc on its own would probably cost that much anyway, so I thought, why not? So I'll just give the other one into charity shop because obviously I won't be able to trade it in. And yeah, I started the first Uncharted game, played about an hour of it, and then stopped. Totally overrated. Grey bits, some grey bits. Tomb Raider. I wanted the Game of the Year edition of this, but I'd only get it on PS3 because obviously because I haven't got current gen console. I'd only get it on PS3 because all the extra content is downloadable, and I don't have a sort of online facility for my 360 anymore, and I'm not willing to pay for Xbox Live, especially for sort of an old console like a 360. And so I thought it's PS3 only, but then US versions of the Game of the Year edition were a lot more common than the PAL versions, and as I understand it, downloadable content isn't region free, is it? Is that as I understand? Am I correct? I don't know. So in the end, I just gave up and got this version. So yeah, which was on my list. Hear good things. As you can see, if anybody's not seen my videos before, I'm way behind the times. It's 2017 now, July, and I'm still plumbing the depths with 360 and PS3 and PS2. Early PS2 games called Extermination. Really early, pounds. Really early PS2 game. Made by aged, has aged, but will appeal to anybody who likes early PS1 survival horrors, because that's what it looks like. And it's made by people who were involved, at least with the first, I'm sure, with the first Resident Evil. They're in the mix there somewhere, I'm sure they are. Well, that's what I've heard anyway, I might be wrong. Someone might have been telling me porkies. Hopefully they won't. And yeah, it's... You know, it's one I wanted to try. It looks all right, actually. It looks okay, but sort of dated and you know, like on the cusp between PS1 and PS2. Survival horror, essentially. You know, you're sort of squad of highly trained military dudes in the sort of near future, and they go to like an Arctic facility where there's stuff been going down. And everyone's dead, or it's all a bit quiet and a bit mysterious. So, yeah, looks like this one version came from Slovenia. Kontiki. That label looks like a label from wherever it came from. Which, you think about it, we are very lucky being in the UK, being English speakers, because we never have to contend with video games never being made into sort of the language that we speak. You know, we complain that we can't play Japanese games because we can't speak Japanese. But think of all those people who don't speak English and so have to somehow contend with playing video games that will never be made in their own native language. But, you know, we don't realise how good we've got it, do we? Right, two more. Two more. So close to one of the best charity shop finds of science found in a long time. Although it would have been a double. Metroid Fusion. Just saw it just stuffed down in a charity shop shelf, down sort of out of the way. And I thought, oh, bargain. Picked it up. Nice and heavy. Opened it up. Manual, you can see this is going. Manual, gubbins, box. Did you hear that? If you hear weird hooting noises, my fridge has been making noises a bit like the alarm in the Death Star, crossed with a baboon or a chimp being punched, crossed with dare I say it, Jimmy Savile. I'll just let that hang in the air there. I won't say his name again, but yeah. Yeah, it makes weird noises, weird hooty noises. We got a bloke in, and he sort of fiddled around with it. And because it was making like prolonged hooty noises, and now it just makes sporadic hooty noises. They used to keep me awake, but since he came, I can just about sleep through the sporadic hooty noises. So yeah, no game, no carts, but I've already got. Annoyingly, I would have loved it if it was Zero Mission. I would have minded if it was Zero Mission because I've only got that on cart, but this one I've actually got complete. Annoyingly, so this will sort of cobble together a better version or the best version I can get and trade on the bits, spares, no insides. But yeah, I took it to the counter and said, looks like there's no game in this, and they were going to give it to me for free, but I felt bad and just gave him £1. It looks like someone had, and he said, "Oh, it looks like someone's just nicked the game." So yeah, I gave him £1. I put £1 in their little charity box, charity collection thing. And finally, talking of PS2 games and making headway into my list, this was one of the ones way up there, along with Fire Pro Wrestling Returns. Bit of a birthday present to myself. It's my birthday back in the beginning of May. Wanted the UK version of this. Didn't think I'd ever get one. I'd resigned myself to paying for the cheaper continental versions. But then a copy of the UK version popped up on eBay for a decent price, actually, considering another one was already on auction at the time, and it ended up going for about 57 quid. This was 42. So, you know, expensive in real terms, or, you know, quite a lot of money in real terms, but not if you're buying a car, a Ferrari. It's Michigan Report from Hell. So it's the full UK version with, you see, full UK version, the little Union Jack there. So, yeah, missed out. There was a time you could probably get this for about 20 quid, I think, 20, 25, 30 quid all day long. So they were quite common. But then, you know, it got to the point I'd obviously missed the boat. And all you could get were the sort of Italian, French versions, German, maybe not German, actually. So, yeah. And this is spotless, by the way, spotless. And, yeah, it's, if you don't know what it is, it wasn't available in America. It's, you play a cameraman and you have to follow your crew around, or your all these journalists around this, who are sort of telling the story of sort of a zombie infestation in Michigan. You know, oh, there's zombies in Michigan, so they have to go there, and there's a sound man and a journalist, and you're the cameraman, and you have to film them. And it's a slightly sort of moralistic. Shall I hold it? Slightly sort of moralistic storyline or sort of gameplay, because you it's about journalistic separation almost. Weirdly, this makes it sound really sophisticated, but it's not. It's a bit shoddy, a bit cheap and nasty. It's a 505 game, clearly. Yeah. You film this woman actually. Sort of, there's a series of actually journalists, because you know, you film them as they're speaking, and they get attacked by zombies, and you have the choice of whether to keep on filming or just go and help them. And you know, that's pretty much what the game is. You know, you just basically have to sort of get the footage. And it's sort of a weird survival horror, I suppose you could call it. But sorry, get distracted by my grey bits. I'll just read the back. A mysterious thick fog has descended on City and, all one word. In a matter of hours, it has spread to the rest of the country. At this point, the Zaka TV team go into action to make their full report of the events. You are the team's cameraman. Get ready to document this bizarre phenomenon. And then it says, an army of creatures suspended between life and death. And it says, more than 15 hours of gameplay and 5 different what? Who knows? And it says, gain scoop points based on the type of films you make, whether descriptive, suspense-filled, erotic, or immoral. So, there you go. Erotic. Or immoral. So, there you go. That's about morality. Journalistic separation. We should all be experts then by now, because everybody films stuff nowadays, don't they? Your mission as a cameraman is to collaborate with your team and try to get the scoop. So there you go, that's what the game is. And a bit of a novelty. So yeah, I'm going to let you go for half an hour. So not too long now. If I get any more PS2 games, I'll let you know. So yeah, hopefully we get it done in sort of inside this year. Hopefully. All right then, see you later. Cheers.